Cyberattacks happen all the time, but we don't learn much from them because information about the attacks is too sensitive for firms to share with an outside party. Naively, the only way to aggregate and share information about cyberattacks is through a trusted third party. Every affected party would share private details of their attacks and the size of their losses with this trusted aggregator, who pledges to keep the data private and only releases aggregated summaries and loss statistics. However, using a third party comes with high risks. These risks include the third party itself being a victim of cyber attacks, thereby exposing all the data, and companies refusing to participate in the aggregation or reveal their most sensitive items due to fear of accidental disclosure. SCRAM, or Secure Cyber Risk Aggregation and Measurement, uses cryptographic tools, primarily multi-party computation, or MPC, based on threshold homomorphic encryption to compute aggregate statistics. Using SCRAM, a firm would never be required to disclose its own attack and loss data to anyone else, even to a third party. This means we can use cryptographic tools to simulate this trusted party, allowing all of the benefits that come from pooling data without any of the risks from using a real third party. This allows companies to safely input data that would be too sensitive for a trusted third party to hold. SCRAM could benefit the security community by allowing us to understand three things. First, how frequently do specific security measures fail? Second, what are the typical monetary losses when one of the defenses fails? And third, how should we prioritize our spending on security defenses? Now we can calculate answers to these questions without requiring firms to disclose their own losses, thus increasing our understanding of cyber risk. Let's walk through a simple example. 12 financial firms were victims of cybersecurity attacks in 2019. They decide to participate in our computation to understand the three previously mentioned benefits. First, each firm generates its own public and private key pair. Next, all firms submit their public key to the MIT server, which then combines all of the keys into a single shared public key. Anything encrypted with this new combined public key requires all of the private keys to decrypt it. The shared public key gets distributed back to the firms, and each firm encrypts their private data using the shared public key. They then send their encrypted private data to the MIT server. Since this server only sees ciphertexts, no information about the firm's underlying data can be learned. The MIT server runs computations on all the encrypted data, producing an encrypted result of the computation. This encrypted result is sent back to each firm. Now, each firm uses their own private key they generated earlier to run a decryption protocol to partially decrypt the ciphertext. If any firm does not participate in this decryption process, the answer will remain completely hidden. At the end of the decryption protocol, each party receives the decrypted result of the computation. Remember, the raw underlying data is still unknown to each firm and the server. The 12 financial firms in this example can now take the results and use them to benchmark their own defense posture against their peer group, update their internal risk models, and reevaluate their security priorities and spending. The SCRAM platform would provide clarity and visibility on how firms as a whole defend themselves, and improve the understanding of the relationship between control failures and financial losses. SCRAM will also improve security for all firms by allowing researchers to extract the insights from highly sensitive data that firms would otherwise not be willing to share.